So I have both strong introverted and extroverted qualities. So
Okay.
that's why when you see me on video, if you see me in front of a class or a workshop, I'm bouncing around, I'm confident, I'm talking to everybody and all of that. But what you don't see is the next day, I don't talk to anyone. Okay. So I need that space, but I also need that environment where I can be social, where I can be around people, where I can be that center of attention and loud and bouncing around. I think one of the common misconceptions as well regarding introversion, extroversion, ambiversion, whatever, is that to be a good public speaker, you need to be an extrovert.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best public speakers in the world have been introverts.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the mini-series of the Unlocked Conversation Cards with the Diary of a CEO. Conversation Cards. Today, I am joined with my good friend, Ashley Griffiths. Hello, mate. How's it going?
It's going fabulous. How about yourself, mate?
Always fabulous, especially talking to another podcaster and video superstar, media expert. My long list of words for you there. But yes, tell us a little bit about you and what is it that you do?
Well, I quite like your intro, actually. So, right. So what is it I do? Ultimately, I work with clients to get them out of their heads and out into the world. So dropping all the shoulds, all the musts, have tos, I need to be a guru, I need to sing, I need to dance. And I help them focus on who they are, what they're all about, and then getting that across via video and out into the world so they can market their business and start attracting more of the sort of clients that light them up.
Oh, I like that. Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'm looking forward to this one. So obviously we met through the wonderful, the wonderful Varga, Vanda
Yep.
Varga, through NLP, because we're both NLP
Yes,
practitioners. So
we
this
are
will be a very
indeed.
interesting conversation. Are you ready for your question, Ashley?
Oh, I'm a little bit nervous, but let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. So your question is, what is the unobvious thing that you struggle with?
Oh, my
What is the
life.
unobvious thing that you struggle with?
The unobvious thing I struggle with.
Yeah. Deep question.
Okay, I suppose. Yeah, I think the people are often surprised. Anyone who's met me, anyone who's been in a room with me, anyone who's seen my videos are often surprised to find out that I'm not a natural extrovert, that I'm actually quite
Oh,
shy. I recently discovered, probably the last 2 years ago, that I'm an ambivert.
oh, okay.
So there are
Just for
times.
clarity for listeners, what does that mean?
So I have both strong introverted and extroverted qualities. So
Okay.
that's why when you see me on video, if you see me in front of a class or a workshop, I'm bouncing around, I'm confident, I'm talking to everybody and all of that. But what you don't see is the next day, I don't talk to anyone. Okay. So I need that space, but I also need that environment where I can be social, where I can be around people, where I can be that center of attention and loud and bouncing around. And I was just thinking about this yesterday, actually, because on Monday, one of my other hats that I wear is I work with kids that don't go to school. And Monday's quite a peoply day. So I'm talking to people from 9:30 in the morning all the way through until 7 o'clock at night. And then on Tuesday, you're lucky if you get a word out of me until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I literally just sit in a kind of daze until around lunchtime. And then I'm like, suppose I should probably talk to people again now.
Nice. Yeah. So interesting then. So where do you think that comes from then?
Well, the ambivert, I think I've always been quite insular in nature. I was always quite shy. but I was always fascinated with people, always. And I liked observing, and I liked sitting. And I was often thinking, I'm not going to say anything unless I've actually got something worth saying. Um, so especially at school, I'd often sit, watch, and then whenever I was ready, I would pipe up. Um, but yeah, I was very shy as a child, very shy. Um, the work that I do now, all the public speaking I've done, if you'd have said that even to my teenage, possibly even to my 20-year-old self, that I would be doing that, I'd have been like, shut up. There is no way I'm doing that.
Yeah.
In front of all those people, nah, thanks. It was too high stakes. So I think there was probably a self-esteem issue there for sure. But over time, I think it just changes. I think one of the common misconceptions as well regarding introversion, extroversion, ambiversion, whatever, is that to be a good public speaker, you need to be an extrovert.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best public speakers in the world have been introverts. So yes. I think it's, and also I think sometimes, we live in a world that's determined to make everything binary. And it's just not that simple.
Yeah.
I think we can flip between the two quite comfortably. I know I do.
Yeah. We have a belief in the Confident Club, the same as you, that we believe some of the best speakers in the world are introverted people. But quite often the society norms is that you've got to be this great gregarious person on stage, like Tony Robbins, like, but actually it's the more measured approach, the people that have gravitas, that can hold a room, in the power of a pause and taking people on a journey. Introverts, I think, are absolutely fantastic. So the fact that you have a balance, it's like a superpower. It's like your Clark Kent Superman, isn't it? I can kind of flick between the two. So that's a really good skill to have.
I think again, with the introversion, I like just to kind of like come back to a point you said there about the silence. Really, the power of silence. I think we live in a society where that is being drastically diminished. If you look at, say, social media, with the way videos are put out, where you've got to literally fit in your life story into a 30-second clip, and the way that people edit that is like, it sounds like they're being bloody remixed.
Yeah.
There's no room for the words to breathe. And, purely from a processing power, a brain processing power, we need that time to let the words sink in and like figure out, okay, does this actually mean something to me?
Yeah.
So silence is super powerful. I think in my teaching career, silence was crucial, because sometimes teachers, I think, like, okay, well, I asked a question, nobody's answering. I'll go, oh God, do I need to do something now? And it's like, no, let them think.
Yeah. You've inspired me to think. I'm thinking about doing maybe I'll do like a video, like a podcast video. Like a little video on LinkedIn of just sitting in front of the camera, not saying anything. Because the weight and the strength of what that could do to just be present in my own thoughts. But yeah, I mean, who was it the other day? The Art of Brilliance, they shared a great post, which was the word listen.
Yeah.
And listen is silent. Just the word silent just jumbled up into different letters. I thought, yeah, that's right. It's very powerful, isn't it? That wonderful pause. And I love the idea of what you just mentioned there about the two, extrovert, introvert, that you can both achieve the silence on both parts.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's kind of like, there's strengths in using both, isn't there? Interesting.
Oh, massively. Yeah. I think again, it's with say a public speaking, or even if you're just on a one-to-one basis with somebody, if you're literally talking in a monotone, and it's all you and it's all one way, that might not resonate at all with the individual. They might switch off. Yeah. So if you're literally, I think there's times where you need to go slowly. You need to really emphasize that it's important to be listening right now. And even with the tone, the way that you're delivering that, it's much more measured. And then there are times where you're just going to get super excited because I really need to share this. And you know that time when you know how it is when you get
It's
really
like cats and
excited about
dogs, isn't
something,
it?
right?
From back on the NLP thing. Yeah, cats and dogs. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It really depends on it's fitting the right words and the right energy to whatever you're trying to deliver.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are times where I'll be bouncing around the room, super excited and talking a million miles an hour. And there's other times where it's like, right, now we need to really focus.
Interesting then, just to call back to the question. So what is the unobvious thing that you struggle with? So is it something, because I'm not sure if it is something you struggle with, or maybe I might be wrong, but I'm assuming that it's quite a nice balance for you. Or am I wrong? Is it something you really struggle with?
The struggle is finding that balance. I think like, for example, say during the pandemic, for example, when I was just in this room, I mean, this was one of the reasons I started recording videos in the first place, because my extroverted side wasn't getting any love, wasn't getting any attention. There was no room. There were no people to entertain. There was no other energies in the room. And that can be a struggle. And I've really had to work on a personal level, when it can have an influence on, say, relationships, because, there's certain people that want you to be there and present all the time. And I simply can't do that. And it's finding that balance. I usually, like, when I meet people for the first time, or I get into a kind of romantic relationship, I usually give them a disclaimer. It's not personal.
Nice. Yeah.
I am likely to disappear.
Yeah. Don't think odd of me. This is just me. Yeah.
It's not personal. I just need to decompress, and that can be, I think some people, if they don't have that, it takes a lot of conversations and awareness as well. And sometimes those conversations are hard, and it's a learning process, but there are still times where it's learning to really pay attention to the signals and going, Ash, now time out. You've spent too much time here. So it's learning to find the schedule, learning to find the time. So that's why, like, Tuesday mornings, for example, now I block them off. No one's booking a call with me. There's no sales calls. There's no business. I get up when I get up on a Tuesday morning, and I just, but that was a learning curve. In the past, I would have just tried to crack on, and in the end, I've just ended up exhausted.
Yeah. Wow. Well, knowing what you now know, obviously from this experience, from understanding about the unobvious thing that you struggle with, what does this make you think and feel going forward?
Oh, I like that. There was some NLP language patterns there as well, right? You just Miltoned me. Right. So I think, again, it's an ongoing process. I think for me, when you ask that question, I lean towards kind of fixed mindset, growth mindset, the kind of the work of Carol Dweck there. And I think there's sometimes this notion, really, that you are always the same and you're not changing, but that is both physically and physiologically not true. You are always changing. You are literally, if you go 10 years in the past, you are literally a different person, biologically and mentally. And I think there's that notion that you're always changing. That what is true now might not be true in the future. What was true in the past might not be true now. So I believe it's all about having that awareness and figuring out, okay, how can I make this work? So, like I said a minute ago about the knowing I need to take time off, I didn't know that in the past. And maybe there's stuff to learn moving forwards. Like recently, for example, I knew I had to start doing more face-to-face work for the extroverted side, not online work, actually in a room with people. But you learn that by going through the process.
Yeah, yeah,
this process we call life.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's nice. Thank you. That's an interesting thought. So thank you for your time, mate. Absolute pleasure. Love these conversations because I just love seeing us dive deep into unexplored territory or things that we don't consciously think of. So thank you, Ashley, for coming on. If people want to find out about you and obviously maybe they may need your work, maybe, how can they find you?
Yes. Okay, I live, or at least I do some of the time, on LinkedIn. You can find me there on a Tuesday, definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, occasionally on a Saturday. I post a lot of content on there. My website has got blogs and bits and bobs on there. It's loudlyproudly.com. And also got a podcast, an espresso shot of confidence, which is available on every single podcast platform that you could possibly think of, and currently uploading the episodes to YouTube. So that's been an ongoing process, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Brilliant.
So yeah, reach out if you need any help. Reach
there
out
we
on
go. We lost
LinkedIn
you
and
for a
I'll be
second
happy to
there.
help.
But I lost you for a second there. It cut out there, but we obviously heard that you're uploading them to YouTube.
Yes, so the YouTube videos. So I'm trying to upload 2 or 3 a week at the moment because I've got a massive backlog. We're up to almost 70 episodes now, the podcast.
Nice.
So getting them on there. So yeah, feel free to have a listen, reach out. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or send me an email if you are looking to explore putting you in the center of your marketing.
Love it. Love that. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for coming on. And for any listeners listening, if you enjoyed this episode, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button or leave us a review on Podchaser. We would love to hear your thoughts. But thank you, Ashley. Great to have you on the show. Thank you.